Welcome into our final interview of the season here on the Utah Lax Report. We have an opportunity. High school is all wrapped up, and in case you missed it, go check out our show from earlier this week. We recap all the state championships, semifinal action as well, and on the boys and girls side. But we want to bring one more interview to you because it's always hard as the season comes to a conclusion. You crown state champions, and that's such a great moment. And then you drive home and you're like, well, now what am I going to do with all my time? Well, we have an answer for you. And we are going to be joined today by Mason Powell. Mason is, he's kind of the head man, runs the Wasatch Whalers, which if you're not familiar with that, it's a first year semi-pro team out of the Box Lacrosse League, semi-professional team here in Utah. And so we wanted to bring him on for all of you lacrosse enthusiasts. We know it's not field, but it's box lacrosse, which has its own flavor to it. We'll dive into that with Mason in a little bit. But without any further ado, let's dive into our interview with Mason Powell. Well, we'd like to welcome in Mason Powell. And Mason, the does it all for the Wasatch Whalers. And Mason, before we get to the Whalers and who they are in the league and team and all that, maybe give us a little bit of background about your familiarity with the game and how you got to where you're at right now with the Whalers.
Yeah. Well, first off, Dane, thanks for having me on. Appreciate you having me here. Like you said, my name is Mason Powell. I'm originally from upstate New York. Moved out to Salt Lake City about a decade ago. I think I'm going on my 10th year now. But I was born with a stick in my crib and growing up playing in the backyard, and went to Cazenovia High School, won a state championship there with all my good buddies, and then I went to the Hill Academy after that for my senior year, and then went to Cortland State after that and got to play a little bit there. But then kind of after field ended and, college career was over, I really fell in love with the box game. So now I'm, like you said, kind of doing it all, GM, coach, player for the Wasatch Whalers, which is a semi-professional box lacrosse team here in Salt Lake.
So I want to talk a little bit about that, just because we have a lot of people who listen that obviously love lacrosse and have familiarity playing, coaching, watching, kids, relatives that have played lacrosse. But obviously you mentioned this being a box lacrosse. Talk to us about some of the differences between, the style that some of our listeners may have become familiar with in high school or even collegiate lacrosse to box lacrosse. What are some of the differences in the game?
Yeah, well, I'd say it's a whole lot different other than we got a stick and a ball. And
Okay.
Other than that, it's pretty much a completely different game. I usually explain it as hockey, five runners or five skaters in hockey, one goalie, and then quick subs on the fly. Really intense game. You're a lot closer to your defender, and, it's a 30-second shot clock, so it's go, go, go. And, we're rifling off about 40 to 50 shots a game in most games. So a lot of action, a lot of goals, and a lot of big hits. So it's definitely a fun game. And as soon as I started playing it, I was like, I'm never going back to field again, but still playing field too,
And you talk about it being a very different kind of game. Field dimensions, obviously field, is on a football field. Is this more that same dimension? Is it more like a hockey arena, or is it even smaller?
Yep. Yeah. So we play in a hockey arena. Our team specifically is playing at Sports City. So I know some of you might have been there. But yeah, turf with a hockey rink dimensions, two different doors for each bench. So we're flying out of both ends of the doors, and a lot tighter and a lot faster.
We talk about the Wasatch Whalers. Is this the first year of that team here in Salt Lake City, or has this been around for a couple of years now?
Yep. Yeah. So I just started it this year. We're going into our first season. We just had our first game on May 11th against our biggest rival here, which is another local team called the Salt Lake Storm. They have a team as well. So we got our first win against those guys. It was a close battle, 16-13, and both teams are looking good. So we're excited to see them again coming up on June 21st.
Uh, the Whalers a member of the Box Lacrosse League. How long has this league been around for? And is this a first year league, or has it been around a while? This is a new team to the league.
Yeah. So the BLL is what we play in. It's called the Box Lacrosse League. They're in their 5th year of operation right now. They have teams in a bunch of states all over the country. So we're going to Denver. They got teams in Milwaukee, Omaha, Nebraska. They're picking up teams in Texas this year, and playoffs are in Chicago. So it's a it's a growing league, and definitely growing each year. We're getting more and more teams, so it's fun to see, and I'm glad we can be one of those new teams in the league and play against these veterans.
You mentioned that you do a lot. We were talking before we started, and owner and marketing and GM, and you kind of do it all for the Whalers. What has that been like for you stepping into a role where, yeah, you obviously still play, but having to learn how to run a franchise and recruit players and get all of that kind of behind the scenes stuff as well as being out on the field. What has that been like for you?
Well, yeah, it's totally new to me, totally new experience. And if I told you I knew what I was doing, I'd be lying to you. There's a lot of moving parts that you don't think about and everything. But I got a lot of good teammates and a lot of guys that are helping me out on the back end here and there and doing all that. But staying up to date with it, and I got 2 kids and a job as well, so it's been pretty hectic. But uh, as soon as we hit that floor, it's just lacrosse from there on out. So it's a good way to shut off your brain for 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah. You talk about this team being around for the first year, and um, I was just scanning the roster, recognized a familiar name for people here in the state of Utah, and Cam Rossi. When you
Yep.
are looking at bringing players to this roster, how did you try to identify talent? How would players reach out to you, or what was that roster construction like?
Yep. So well, basically, I picked up, I would say, probably 50% of my team at Sunday pickup. So Utah has a Sunday pickup league that's been going on for a while now. So I've been going there, and you see a guy score behind the back goal, and you say, "Hey, you want to be a Whaler?" And then you talk to him, and we had our tryout this year. Had about, I think we had 47 guys come try out for our team for a 30-man roster. And there wasn't a single bad person out there. The talent here in Utah is really high. And, when Camden Rossi, reached out to me and kind of fell in my lap, I was like, well, of course you could be on the team. So really stoked to have Cam Rossi. He brought a few more of his Westminster boys, Joe Celentano, Jackson Wigger, and Justin Egan. So those guys are all they're really mean, and they're great for us 30 plus year olds on the team. So somebody can do the running out there for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say they keep you young, but they probably take some of the burden off, right? Because you can have them go and run the length of the field.
Yep, exactly. Yep, I'm like, I'll stay down here on the offensive side. You get every ground ball and pass it down here.
Yeah, smart,
Yeah,
smart, smart. You've
yep,
obviously maybe a first year, but you know what you're doing. When
yeah.
when you look at this league, and you talk about you had 47 people come out for the 30 slots.
Hmm.
What are for people who are in high school or maybe playing collegiately who have interest in still being around the game, playing the game, right? What is your advice to people? Is yeah, you want to go play semi-pro lacrosse? Here's some things to be aware of or to stay connected in or working on to prepare for a semi-pro potential career.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I think combines this whole team and really brings us together is we all finished our competitive lacrosse careers, and we didn't make the PLL or the NLL. So what's next? How can I still compete? And how can I still be a part of a team? So this BLL was a great outlet for a lot of these guys where we can go 100% and do that. But like I said, that the Box Lacrosse League is growing tremendously, and um, if you're from around Utah, you got 2 teams here that you can try out for. And then if you're out of state, obviously starting your own team's not easy, but and if you're a diehard lacrosse fan, it comes natural once you're once you're ready to compete again. But I would say the biggest thing for Utah guys, that if you're getting out of high school or getting out of college and you want to come try out, then you just got to watch some box lacrosse and study the game and come ready to compete.
I know as I've talked with people, as I've gotten more familiar with lacrosse, I do have friends who love the box game. And so I'm curious for those who want to go and watch it. Where you mentioned you guys play in Sandy, but where can they find your schedule? Where can they find more team information? How do they know, when to come out and watch the Whalers?
Yep. So right now we have our Instagram at Wasatch Whalers, and then we also have our website, which is wasatchwhalers.wix.com. So you can hop on there. I actually have a meeting right after this to solidify our entire schedule, so that should be out tomorrow. But we do know our next game, which is the 21st against the Storm. So local rivalry once again.
And is that also going to be played in Sandy, Soccer City?
Yep. Down at it's at Sports City. Sports City.
Sorry.
Yep. It's in Draper, I believe, technically, but
okay.
Yep, down near Sandy. Yeah.
And what time is that game at?
That one's going to be at 5:30, I believe. Yep.
5:30. And you said on Friday the 21st?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And just for people, once again, that was wasatchwhalers.wix.com. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, I'll just maybe ask you one more question before we take off. How do you feel like, I don't know how familiar you are with some of the high school, collegiate. Obviously, I know you've got a couple of Westminster players on the roster, but when you look at lacrosse in the state of Utah, how can we continue to grow it? I know the Whalers are really around box, but how can we continue to grow? What can players, parents, community do to continue to help grow this great and fast game in the state of Utah?
Yeah. Well, Utah is doing all the right things right now, I would say. You got multiple collegiate teams, like you said. The high school programs just keep popping up new ones each year, which is great to see. And now you got the BLL, the PLL, and now I know it's not lacrosse, but the NHL coming, which is still putting sticks in kids' hands. And they're very, summer season you're playing lacrosse, winter you're playing hockey, and that's what we did in upstate New York. And I think it's going to be a good transfer out here, not only to engage kids, but also to put out some really good kids. I mean, we've already put out plenty that are in the professional league now and that have gone on to play D1 and these big names. So I don't really see the glass ceiling yet in Utah, and I think if I do see it soon, we're going to blow right through it. So I'm just glad it's growing up here, and it's starting to grow down south as well in southern Utah. So it's great to see.
And that's awesome. I mean, I know lacrosse is huge out east and in New York. Obviously, great programs out in New York, Syracuse, and others out there. But it's awesome to have that perspective of seeing it, being very mature and where it's still young here in Utah for you to say, yeah, you guys are on the right path and continue to grow it. I'm a big hockey guy. And so part of what I love about lacrosse is it is kind of, hockey in nice weather or nicer weather, right? And so a lot of similarities there, and absolutely love the translation between those two. And I think they play very well off of each other. That's a great call out.
Absolutely. Hockey in shorts.
That's right. Mason, anything else you'd like to just share about the Whalers while you've got an opportunity here?
No, just want to maybe shout out my team real quick and tell them I said all hail the whale, and hope to see everybody there on June 21st. And thanks for having me on, Dane.
That's awesome. All hail the whale. I love that. That's fantastic. I'll tell you this, as a hockey guy, I mean, the Whalers is one of the great iconic logos, mascots there was before they relocated. So love it. The Wasatch Whalers, again, that website, wasatchwhalers.wix.com. And also you can go check them out next game. Well, check out the website to learn their upcoming schedule. And then obviously the next game, Friday, June 21st, 5:30 at Sports City. Mason Powell, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck this year in the Box Lacrosse League, and look forward to seeing how the Whalers do. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Dane. Thanks for having me on, and have a great rest of your night, man.
Want to thank Mason for joining us today. Obviously he's got a lot on his plate. Started the Box Lacrosse League and trying to start up a team, and man, there's a ton that he is doing to get this going. But wanted to bring him on just because one of the things I've really grown to appreciate about the lacrosse sport here in the state of Utah is the community nature of it. And even the people who first started helping to orient me to it were like, oh, well, there's box lacrosse, and that's really fun. You got to check this out. And while I haven't been able to go to a box lacrosse game, we're going to change that this year with the Whalers. Have had an opportunity to watch a game or two, and it's fast and it's up and down. It's physical. It's just like he mentioned it. And so wanted to help people understand, that the high school season's over, the college season's over, but for all of you diehard lacrosse fans, there's still lacrosse being played here in the state of Utah, and wanted to help you know where to go to find that. And so obviously he mentioned a couple teams here in the Valley, but want to thank Mason for joining us today and helping us learn more about the BLL and the Wasatch Whalers. And obviously, as he mentioned, of course, having the Storm here in the Valley as well. Multiple ways that you can continue to go get your fill of lacrosse here in Utah. So Mason, thank you so much. Excited to see their schedule. And as he mentioned, a league that's, 5 years down its path and championships in Chicago. This is a growing league. And so good time to kind of get in and get familiar with it now that our Fridays and Saturdays are wide open. So thanks to Mason Powell for joining us. We want to thank you for joining us. We have a lot of other coaches, players that we would love to interview. But with summer here, we're going to put a pin in our coverage. So I want to thank you for joining us this year. We're going to start things up early in 2025. We'll try to do some previews. We'll try to get some more interviews going. But I want to thank you for joining us here this season as we've brought you lacrosse coverage, high school, college, and have given you a soft intro to semi-pro over the course of the summer. We will pick this back up in 2025. We hope you all have a great rest of your year. Stay safe, and we look forward to resuming things next season right here on the Utah Lacrosse Report. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you next year here on the Utah Lax Podcast.